Welcome to World War II Online tutorials. How to set up your linked positions for dive bombing with a JU88 and an He-111. Because of the length of the explanation for doing this as a part of the dive bombing video, I decided to make a separate tutorial on how to set up your linked positions for dive bombing with your JU88 and, coincidentally, your He-111, as is Loadout 1 is controlled by the pilot. However, if you're in Loadout 2 or 3 and you're still only piloting yourself without a bombardier, then you need to do a separate way of setting up your bomb release using your pilot and using your bombardier and then back to your pilot again. And that's because I'm using a setup where I can use a rocker switch, go to my bombardier, release the egg, and go back to the pilot all within a flick of the switch. So I pull back and then push forward very quickly, bang, bang. And so it kicks me into position 2, it drops the bomb, and then I push forward and it kicks me back into position 1. However, I'm no longer in the bomb site. So I set a quick pause from my dive bombing video to show how I set this up, to make it more specific to what it is you're doing. You can do this in the keymapper or offline. Practice offline, they now call it. Play World War II Online in offline training. A little more descriptive of what you're doing. So I thought I better include that in the video. You want to go to your the unit you want to grab, which in this case I'm doing the tutorial on the JU88. Now they have changed a few things. If you go to loadout number 1, which means the pilot will be dropping the 4 main 250 kilogram bombs, and there is no bombardier involved. You can't even access the bombardier's position, but you can still go to position 3, which is the bombardier being used as the gunner. So, but the bombardier for bombing is not available. And then you have Loadout 2 and Loadout 3. Loadout 2 is still your 4 250 kilogram bombs. And you also have 10 50 kilogram bombs, which is, they're like 110 pounds each. And then Loadout 3 is your 28 50 kilogram bomb. I prefer, most of the time, I used Loadout 2, and I'm going to show you how to set up for the pilot, since I'm not going to be carrying anybody with me. I'm not multi-crewing. So I'll show you how to set up a link in order to use your pilot and go to the bombardier and then back to the pilot again rapidly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my keymapper. I am going to go to, and you don't want to do these adjustments in the main tab. The reason why is that adjustment applies to every plane in that list. So I'm going to go down to the JU88 by itself. Now the JU88 and the He-111 are going to use the same basic setup. So what I'm going to do is, and you see I've already got these in here. Normally this says position 1, you hit your 1 on the keyboard. Position 2, which is your bombardier, you hit a 2. Well, what I've done is I have double key mapped my button 4, which is a rocker switch on my flight yoke. And if I pull back on the flight yoke to position 4, I actually go to position 2, which you can see right here, and it uses the secondary weapon, which is my bomb load. So I drop a bomb. Go back to my pilot. Position 1, see that same rocker button that I have also, if I push forward on that button, it's button 3. So button 4 goes back and drops a bomb position, and then if I push forward on that button, it takes me back to the pilot. So it's I can do very rapidly. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Go to position 2. Take my selection of bombs, which is over here, and change it to my 10 little bombs and open up my bomb bay door. How I know it's open is this little lever right here. I didn't want to screw with the getting in and out of the keymapper because I got to go back and grab that. So I apologize if that's in the way. When that bomb bay's open and I go back to my pilot. So anyway, if I want to continue dropping the little bombs again, I just use the rocker switch 3-4. Or excuse me, 4-3. So I pull back, switch 4, switch 3. So if you have a rocker switch anywhere, that's the ideal method for being able to go to the bombardier's position and drop a bomb, and without using the bombardier. If I still want to use the bombardier, because I am in loadout number 2, where the bombardier is available, I have on my keymapper, I have 2 ways of getting to the bombardier. One with the rocker switch, which also drops a bomb. Again, bomb 2. So they're both at the same thing. If I want to go to position 2 without dropping a bomb, then I have another button on my joystick, which in this case, I use my hat going backwards. I just pull back on that. It takes me to position 2 without dropping any bombs. I can go into the bomb site, whatever I want to do, or if I want to, drop bombs, or if I want to make a bomb selection between the external and internal. And if I want to open that bomb bay door, I have to go to position 2. So I use that hat key backwards. And then if I push forward on that hat key, try to keep everything simple, I go to the gunner's position. Hat key back, hat key forward. That's the bombardier. If I push my rocker switch, forward is the pilot and back is the bombardier. And I drop a bomb. Forward, back, back. And that is a quick tutorial on how to set up and link your different positions to do dive bombing with the JU88 and the HE-111.